Oh.
All right, we're on. We've started YouTube. The show will be going live in about 3 minutes. I'll go through my spiel for anybody that watches the replay. Holy shit, my video appears to be lagging badly. Um, we go out live over the radio app as well, so we take breaks during the radio show. They listen to commercials and music during the breaks. You guys get to listen to us talking bollocks, is what generally happens. And that's that. You can see the number on the screen below. You can call in 678-760-1556. If you're watching the replay, don't bother. Obviously, no one's here to answer the phone. Unless you call between 7:30 and 10, in which case you'll get the morning show. Call them, yell at them a lot. They love it.
I think our pictures are in front of the number.
Oh, I've got to turn down the volume.
Well, when it goes to when the screen flicks to me, they can see the number.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, when it goes to you guys, they can't.
Unless we got T-shirts with the number on it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, put it this way, on my screen, your little pictures are in the bottom right-hand corner, and the number's still visible.
Okay, good.
I don't know if that is a thing on YouTube, or whether that...
I'm on YouTube,
Let
and yes, it
me
is.
make it big.
Except our pictures are covering up the number.
They're covering the number, or they're covering the call-in, blah, blah, blah.
You can see 678, and then it covers everything else.
Motherfuckers.
Which I just said, but it only makes a difference when fucking Keith says it. Apparently my head is too small to understand these things.
I don't know, because I'm going to take a photograph of what I'm looking at, because what I'm looking at using Manycam is mirrored, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
No, I understand what you're saying, but...
No, stop talking, because it switched to you, and there we go. Anyway, now you can talk.
I understand what you're saying, but I watch what the people see so that I can watch the comments.
Yes.
Well, I watch it anyway because I think it's fun to watch us.
So apparently what you guys and what the people are seeing is different to what I see, and I don't know how to fix it.
Which we know because you can't see the
I
comments.
I do know how to fix it. Bear with me.
Maybe you can move the just for fun boxes.
That's what I'm going to do.
I don't know, the hangout boxes, they're not just for fun.
Tell me
boxes.
if this helps. Oops, shit. Tell me if you can see the number. It'll come up in, I guess, 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah, we're delayed.
Yeah. In fact, I'm even going to get rid of the call in. I'm just going to leave the phone number. And when Scott yells at me tomorrow, I'll just explain to him why.
We've got 67015.
760, Miss Dyslexic.
You should get the whole thing soon. All right, we're going live. The bumper music's playing.
Dyslexics everywhere. Untie.
All right, 3, 2.
There, perfect.
Good evening. This is Tech Talk. I'm Alex, your host, Xander Mech, whatever you prefer. We're on YouTube live now, obviously. I have in the Hangouts, as always, Danielle. Hi, Danny.
Hello.
And Keith is joining us. Hey, Keith.
Hey.
What's going on?
You know, nothing much. Just living the dream.
Lovely. I'm trying to fix the lower third so that people can read the phone number because I guess from your vantage point, the little Google Hangouts boxes were covering the number. From my vantage point, everything's mirrored, and I didn't realize that was happening, but is that better? Is that fixed?
Yep, we can see it, or at least I can.
All right, well, that's your number to call in right there, 678-760-1556. Pardon me, the lines are open. Whether I answer the phone or not is another matter entirely. What is going on, fellas?
Nothing. Spent all day, well, texting with you, listening to the hearings about the whole Apple debacle.
I know, and man, what a day it's been. Got the primaries going on, the Super Tuesday, or for some reason what Southerners insist on calling the SEC primaries. And Apple and the FBI were in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee today talking about security. I'm going to get into that later, and I'm going to make fun of a few people actually that trusted the government a little bit too much because the FBI laid all their cards on the table today. And I hate to say I told you so. So I will merely say I informed you thusly.
All right, Sheldon.
As Sheldon would say. It became apparent today what the FBI is after, and we'll get into that probably after the first break. What about you, Keith? What you been up to?
Well, I don't know why they call it the SEC thing. That's I'm wondering what the stock exchange has to do with it, but you know.
Oh, good Lord. Good Lord.
Hey, they can't all be gems. If they were all gems.
That's right. That's very true. They can't all be gems. Yeah, I think what is that? There's only I think 5 states in Super Tuesday that are even part of the SEC. So I don't know. I guess people like they like to find something to cling on to. Let me look here. What are we going to start off with? Well, we may as well start with the primaries. Did everyone get to go vote today?
No,
Well, you wouldn't because
we're a
oh yeah, actually
caucus.
you should have. You have a primary today. Oh, that's right. You have a
They're
caucus going
they're
on the road.
caucing up the street.
That's right. Oh man, I'm taking you away from your caucus.
And it's well, the registration is at 6:30, so I thought about doing a live remote from there, but I wasn't sure how it would go over. So
Man,
then I
we're useless because I can't vote because I'm not a citizen. Keith, I believe you're in the same boat. You're a
I am not.
Canadian citizen, so you can't vote. Correct?
Yeah, and neither of us have a caucus.
That's right, and none of us have caucuses worth mentioning. And Danielle, I'm taking her time away from her caucus to be on the show. Well, I appreciate that. Trump's going
yeah,
to win Minnesota.
I know.
All those
Yeah.
drunk Indians are going to make sure that happens. I don't know. Can drunk Indians vote?
Well, all you at a caucus, don't you just go and like stand
Well,
in your
they go in, they stand around, they talk to each other. You try to convince people to vote your way.
right, and then you get in your area and they count you.
Then they do a show of hands and
Right.
count, and then you get to debate again, and you can switch votes. And by the end of the night, at the end of the night, hopefully you've brought people onto your team.
Right, but you don't have to like bubble in any circles or
That's
push any
correct.
pins through any little thing. So there's no,
That,
fine motor skills required. Once you sign in at the door, you just got to go hang out with your buddies.
and you raise your hand when asked.
Right.
Is about
So Chad is not like hung at the caucus.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think you just go in and cool chill. What I really kind of wanted to do was go to the Democratic one, which is, they're both literally probably within half a mile of my house. And I really wanted to go do a remote from the Democratic one and just look at the Bernie versus Hillary people. I
Yeah,
thought that would have been fun.
we had a quick discussion at work today about that. Obviously, Trump is expected to win Georgia by quite a margin, and we decided a good alternative to that was for anybody that wasn't going to vote for Trump to go for the Democratic ballot and vote for Bernie and get Bernie the delegates from Georgia so that Bernie is the candidate, to try and help Bernie along for November
Right.
because none of us believe that Bernie Sanders can actually win. But obviously, no one's going to do that. I believe it's going to be a Trump number one, probably Cruz number two.
Now, are you allowed to go to both and vote?
No, you can only vote in one primary, and if there's a runoff, you're not allowed to switch parties. So let's say you vote in the Democratic primary first, but then there's a runoff on the Republican side. You're not allowed to vote in the runoff if you voted for a Democrat on Super Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, this is all foreign to me because Canada, we're the parliamentary system, and
Yeah,
as
as is
is the
England.
British.
That's right. So yeah, 12 or so states voting today. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton expected to walk away with most of the delegates today. Results should start coming in, hell, right about now, actually. I'll probably keep an eye on Google to see what's happening as the night progresses. Pardon me. Um, yeah, results will be available soon, it's saying. So, whatever. It's primaries. I don't think Rubio. Getting harder and harder. I've been saying for what is it, coming up on 2 years that Rubio will be our candidate and will be the next president. And I got to tell you, it's getting harder and harder to believe that's actually going to happen.
It's looking like Trump's going to be the candidate. Whether or not he can carry the party to victory, who knows? But
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
and,
I don't
and
see a strong candidate in Trump or either of the Democratic
yeah, I'm
candidates.
concerned about Trump come November if he is the nominee. Um, but I've been thinking a lot about Trump these last couple of weeks, and because I think it's looking like he is going to be our guy. And I've noticed a difference in tone, a slight difference in tone from him over the last couple of weeks, and I'm wondering if his campaign is going to rework his image. He said something on, I believe it was Meet the Press. They asked him, about his strategy and whether he's going to continue this strategy, and his response was, I know what it takes to win, and I've done what I need to do so far in order to get to where I am, and that may change. That message may change. Basically he's saying it's his persona. It's a persona. He's playing a part effectively just to attain a goal, and
Mhm.
it makes sense in a way. So I imagine when the field gets narrowed down, you may see him start to act a little more presidential. We'll see.
And I mean, to some extent, it makes sense from a business standpoint that you change your goals frequently.
Mhm. Yep.
You know,
Yep, and he knows. He knows. I mean, if you read his book, The Art of the Deal, it's pretty obvious the guy knows what he's doing when it comes
I
to
mean,
things.
one doesn't make $4 billion and not know what he's doing.
Oh no, he's worth way more than that.
Well, that was just a figure I googled today,
Oh, okay.
and that might have been a 2015 figure.
I got a message from my mom. She's watching. Hi, mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Ruby.
Ruby doesn't have to vote today. She's all the way over in England, obviously.
She can vote
Um,
for her queen.
say what?
She can vote for the queen.
Vote for the Queen. That's right. Yeah, don't have much choice there. That raises a I'm just filling time now. We were talking about, I can't remember who it was. We were talking about the line of secession in England and whether anybody thinks Charles will become king. And me personally, I don't believe he will. I think the Queen will pass over Charles and go to William.
Does
Because
anybody think Charles will be king?
I don't know. I've not met anyone yet that thinks he'll be king.
Mm-mm.
We shall see. I know William's very popular. I know the monarchy has come under a lot of heat, and they haven't been overly popular for this and that reason. And it would make sense, I suppose, to put a popular guy in charge. Um,
Now, now
I
the
don't even
the,
know how
the
old William is.
monarchy is the monarchy is really, I mean, for the most part, they're a figurehead in England. They don't really have a lot of power, but they are still technically the leader of the Church of England, right?
Well, and the monarchy, strangely enough, has immense power. They are the leader of the Church of England, but she's also the head of the government, and the Queen signs every law into, or I should say, every bill into law, and the Queen has the power to veto any law she chooses. She's just never used that option.
Oh, okay. I didn't know she had the power to veto.
Oh yeah, she can abolish any law she chooses. She's just never used that power.
I
There's
mean, I knew that was the case in like Henry VIII times, but
right. And then on the parliamentary side, there's the House of Commons, which is the commoners, and the House of Lords, which are, the lords and ladies, the prancers and dancers. And a lot of those are
They wear
top
the
royal.
gray furry hair.
Yeah, they're and they're all the fancy types.
Yes.
And obviously they make laws also. So yeah, the royal family, the monarchy, and the aristocracy have an awful lot of power in
Hmm.
England, surprisingly enough. But
I
yeah,
stand corrected.
the Queen has never used that option. I would use it all the time. I would be
all the
making
time.
Oh
laws.
yes.
I would
Just to
be,
be contrary.
yeah, I'd be making and breaking laws every
Oh,
day.
you want this? It's unanimous, you say?
I'd be making use of the tower and all of the torture equipment in there. I saw that face, Danielle. I think I could make very good use of the tower, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
Get some people on that rack. They had a few.
Hey Al, how's your phone?
Would you? Oh, it's all right.
I don't
as
mean to
she
change
try,
the
as
subject
she
or
tries
anything.
to change the subject.
I
I
don't mean to
know
give you anything to actually talk about.
it's graceful. Um,
That
What's
was
that
my
B&B place
segue.
we could have in the tower?
so I got my. I guess I'll get into this. I got my phone. When was it? Like 3 weeks ago. And the very first, I didn't talk about
No,
it
it's
last
2
week.
weeks because it wasn't last week's show, but the week before that you.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, and I didn't talk about it last week because we had the senator on, but 3 or 4 days after buying the phone, the screen messed up, and I have no idea what happened to it. It almost looked like the layers of the LCD had separated and leaked inside underneath the glass, but it was sealed. In other words, it wasn't spilling out over the edges or anything like that. It was just a mess on the inside. Keith, you remember old LCD screens, just the black and white ones, and if you cracked them, the ink would
Hmm.
spread out like an ink blot. It looked very similar to that.
Like a Rorschach test.
Yeah, yeah,
That
like
was for Danielle's benefit.
Thank you.
yeah. Um, so I took the phone back to T-Mobile, and they were great about it. They hadn't seen it before. They had no idea what had happened, but obviously there were no signs of damage. There was no water damage. I hadn't dropped it or anything. It's almost like the layers separated. So they gave me a brand new phone while I was there. Um, I actually left there, went to the Apple store and purchased Apple Care because if I know I'm on the jump on demand program and I have the insurance, but the deductible on the T-Mobile insurance is like $200. With Apple Care, it's I think $50. So I purchased Apple Care just in case this is an ongoing problem. I tried. I didn't find anybody else on the internet who'd suffered this problem. I did find another problem with the screens, which is shadows up in the top left-hand corner, but who knows. So anyway, uh, I bought the first phone and restored, got it all set up, which used up a bunch of data at the house on Comcast. Then I had to swap it out and get another phone and then set this up, which used up a bunch of data. And I ended up reaching my 300 gigabyte limit on Comcast for the first time ever, apparently. I guess last month I used 160 gigs. The month before was 120. This month I went straight past 300 gigabytes, which annoyed me. And there's a reason for this, and it's a problem with Apple. I'll talk about that when we're coming up on a break. I'll get into that part after the break. Right now I'm just going to bitch about Comcast. So I apparently Georgia is one of these test areas with limited capacity. I didn't realize this, first of all, because whenever I go to check my usage, the usage meter is never visible. It's always disabled. And I've called in, and they've told me, oh, yeah, that's only enabled if you have a data cap. Apparently, I do have a data cap, and I still cannot get to my usage meter to know how much data I'm using. So that pisses me off, first of all. The Comcast do have a thing in place if for the first 3 times you go over your limit, they actually waive overage fees. So I guess that's good, but I would highly recommend, because this is just a beta test. They're testing this in certain areas. Georgia happens to be one of them. If you hit that 300 gigabyte limit, call in and raise hell. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to call in. I'm going to raise all kind of mighty hell about this, because I don't want a data cap. I have a call coming in. Hey, this is Tech Talk. Who's calling?
My name is Bob.
Bob.
Yes, how are you doing, sir? This is Tech Talk,
Yes,
correct?
it is.
All right. Technical question.
All right.
I watch a lot of animal porn, and I'm trying to figure out how I can clear it so my wife can't find out about it.
You can't. It's there for good. It's there for
it
good.
really hurt.
The best thing you can do is,
Get a wife that accepts your habits.
Yeah. Honestly, your wife needs to be more accepting of your animal porn habit.
Are you acceptable, Alex?
Yeah, you want to watch the animal porn? I'm good with that.
Hey, I'm very proud of you. You've cut back your ums.
Yeah, I know. There were an awful lot of ums to begin with. This is Jeff, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah. No.
Enjoying the show.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Well, it's kind of got me confused at first because it was tech talk, and you're talking political at the beginning of it. Confused me at first. But it's kind of interesting. I mean, it gives you a lot of insight on what's going on.
We cover the whole gamut here, Jeff. Generally, the first half of the show is talking about whatever we want, and then we'll get into some technology towards the middle.
Then we're likely to rant about...
That's generally what happens.
Go ahead. Who's your co-host there?
I have Danielle.
Hello.
Up in Minnesota. And,
hey, Danielle.
Hi there.
And Keith, who's a friend of mine right here in Georgia. And they are both in, if you were over on YouTube, you would see them because they're in the Google Hangout. So they're actually on video with me at the same time.
I'm actually driving, though. So
oh, okay. Well, don't do that.
Watch it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Not at all. Just Keith kind of sounds like he's in a empty room. He's got a lot of hollowness to his mic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but
I think he's just using his iPad mic.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That could be it. But
thanks for the feedback, no pun intended.
That's a good one. You should be DJ. Never mind. Nobody needs to be DJ, Scotty.
Oh, bite your tongue.
Enjoying the show, guy.
Thanks, brother.
I know you're fixing to hit a commercial, so I just had to call in real quick. I'm about to pull in my driveway and had to find out about
animal porn.
Yeah, run on in, watch some furry porn, and
little kitty porn there.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Kitty with a TT.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, brother.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Yes,
fun. Little kitten porn, little kitty porn.
I can't remember where I got into. Anyway, the long and short of it is, I hit my cap. I'm annoyed that I have a cap. I have no way of monitoring my usage. And and it's because of a feature that Apple removed, which we'll talk about when we get back from this break. Okay.
Good job using the phone there.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Didn't even hang up on the guy.
Actually had a phone call.
That was awesome.
What is that feature?
This is Tech Talk, after all.
It does not slow us down from messing up technology.
Alexander Graham Bell only invented the phone how long ago?
Stop it.
A Canadian, by the way.
Yeah, 300. I ended up using 303 gigabytes, according to the warning that I got from Comcast.
See, and I can see where you would be angry. I mean, I can monitor mine. I'm unlimited on Sprint, but I can still monitor how much I'm using.
Yeah, I mean, it was annoying. There I was, happily watching some animal porn, and a freaking alert pops up that says, "You've exceeded your cap."
You've exceeded your animal porn limit.
Exactly. No,
Mm-mm.
I was watching Friends on Netflix, and a little warning popped up on the
Same
screen.
thing.
You've exceeded your cap. No warning prior to that. Nothing telling me, you're at 50% or you're at 75%. Just hey, you've exceeded your cap.
Guess what? You owe us more money.
Yeah. Well, then I clicked on their little thing and went to the link, and it said the first 3 times we'll waive any overage fees. So
But
basically,
still doesn't give you an ability to monitor it.
right, I have no way of monitoring it whatsoever.
Yeah, when I used up all of our internet, the Mediacom is our internet provider here at the house, and we had lots of warnings. Like, I think it even started at like below like 33% or something. Like, you've used 33%, and I was like, oh, whatever. And then, like, it told us incrementally up to you've used 95%, you best slow down. And
I'm
then,
gonna go to I'm gonna log into Xfinity on this computer here and see if the usage meter shows up. But it hasn't. At work and at home, it just doesn't show up.
but yeah, I can't believe they didn't warn you until, well, they didn't warn you. They just
Yeah, there
scolded
was
you.
no warning whatsoever. Just a hey, you've gone over. Which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's super uncool.
Oh, where did it? Where's? Oh God. Oh, there we go. My account. Let's see here. Welcome back. Thank you. I think it's under, or supposed to be under my services. Xfinity Internet. Oh, the usage meter is now working.
Sweet.
I've used less than 1 gigabyte of 300.
Since
Okay, so
when?
maybe they fixed it. Maybe, but now I know I hadn't gone over because they showed me in the past, I should say, because they showed my history, and in my history, the highest I'd ever gone was like 170 gigabytes. Um, oh, I'm getting a lot of feedback now.
Sorry, was that because I picked up my
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was you.
that must have been.
my bad. I don't know if there's a way I can mute it when I go away, but
Well, you can mute on your little hangout screen.
oh,
If you
was that muted?
if you click on your up at
Hold
the
on,
top,
I'm talking now, and then I'm going to mute, and I'm muting.
your mute worked.
Okay, got it figured out.
Awesome.
All right, so
We're so
Georgia
techy.
with 1% reporting in Georgia. Donald Trump has 53.9%, Cruz 22.2, and Rubio 15.3. I think it's going to work out here in Georgia exactly the way I thought it was. Trump, Cruz, and Rubio. That sucks.
It does kind of suck.
Oh well.
I mean, I've said it every time that there's part of me that thinks Hillary Trump is going to be hilarious.
Uh,
Oh yeah, I think it'll be entertaining for sure.
I don't need entertainment. I need good leadership.
I don't think anybody is a good leader. I've also said that all along that I don't think any political leader is going to be good. I think maybe a businessman in power. Okay, he may not be great, but he might shake things up, get the budget straight, get the government spending waste down.
I'm gonna go grab a beer while Danielle yells at you.
I'm not yelling. I'm just, ugh. He has no answers. He just threatens and makes shit up and then just
Who
doesn't
else
say
has
anything.
answers? Nobody else has answers. They all just have these vague promises that they don't intend to ever keep.
Are you serious, or are you just goading me? Because Alex has been goading me all fucking day.
Actually, no, I'm dead
So
serious.
if you're
I
just
think
goading me,
politicians are all liars.
I don't think they're all liars. I think a certain amount of it is politicking, but I think there are politicians that go into what they're doing with the intention of actually making a difference. And I think Trump is just a. Actually, I don't know. I'm kind of with Alex that I don't know. I don't.
There's aspects I like about him, like I said, that he'll go line by line through every budget and say, you know what, why are you spending this money? And
Right.
I think that'll be a good thing. Or he'll have people do that. I don't think he'll personally go through line by line with each thing, but I think that's a good thing, and I think maybe it's a stage in government that's maybe required because I see it's not just the U.S. It's like I see Canada, I see all over the world that the governments are just a bunch of corrupt people that are in the pockets of people who's have the most money to support them.
It's time to ban us some muzzies.
I don't know. It's like fucking, we're voting for Archie Bunker.
See, I don't. I think of it as voting for when Ross Perot was trying to get in. I thought, what a great idea, a businessman in
But
politics.
he's a racist businessman. He says things like Mexican immigrants are rapists.
Rapists and murderers.
Yeah.
And muzzies. Muzzies are rapists and murderers. Why
Like,
are all immigrants rapists and murderers? I don't get it.
it's just that, Archie Bunker.
Why can't they leave their raping and murdering at home when they come to America?
I thought that's what they were trying to escape.
And the whole, like, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. What is that?
Now,
How is Mexico going to pay for the wall?
well, I actually heard him address this. He's not a man. He is not a man of substance whatsoever, but he's going to use the trade imbalance to pay for it, he says. So there's a trade deficit between us and Mexico, and
Okay.
he says he's going to use that trade deficit in order for Mexico to pay for the wall. How the details of that are going to work, I'm not sure. That's okay.
That's the brilliance of his plan, is that the shit that he says is so outlandish, you can't even argue with it.
Ruby says that Keith is absolutely right. All politicians are liars, and Donald Trump is a liar and a plunker.
God bless you, Ruby.
A plunker is a...
God bless you, Ruby.
I'm sorry I keep talking naughty in front of you, Miss Ruby. I really do have proper upbringing.
That is Danielle with the potty mouth, Ruby.
That is Danielle with the potty mouth. And those boys are goading me. You hear them.
Yeah, but Donald Trump is a dick. I mean, no one's going to be upset if you say that, or whatever it was you said.
I don't know what I said.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to take up defense of Danielle's comments about him. Sure, he said all those things, yeah. I just like the fact that there's somebody who has some kind of a sense of business going into politics and going to try and, take the top seat.
I understand. I hear people say this all the time. We need a businessman, but the problem is we're not a business. The nation is not. We're not run like any business Trump's ever known. And the only business Trump does know is real estate. And look what happened to the real estate market. If we
Hasn't he been bankrupt twice?
Yeah. Well, Trump 4 times. If we go back to a real estate driven economy, we're just going to end up with another crash like 2007, and we're going to be screwed again. I don't know. Who knows? Like I say, I think we'll see him. I think we're going to see his image evolve and maybe become a little more presidential. I
agree. He could be more presidential.
I have very strong.
Oh my God, I'm more presidential than he is.
Yeah.
Of course, he could be more presidential.
We're going live.
I don't know if he could be less presidential.
All right, we're back, and Danielle's very upset right now about Donald Trump.
I'm not upset.
Trump is winning here in Georgia. It's actually working out the way I thought it would. It's Trump, Cruz, and then Rubio, and then the other two right at the bottom. Let's get back to this iPhone nonsense, though, because two phones. And I used to update my phone all the time, never had a problem with going over my bandwidth on Comcast. The reason being, Apple removed a feature with iOS 9. They they implemented a feature on the phone called app thinning, and they removed a feature in iTunes which was transfer purchases. So, bit of a story to this. When the iPhone and let's go to when the iPad came out. The iPhone was already on the market. The iPad got released, and developers started making two versions of their application. So you would download one version for the iPhone, one version for the iPad, and you could then transfer those back to your computer. So you had a backup of them. So as it evolved, Apple moved into what it called universal apps, where the developer made there were sort of two different versions. It was actually a version of the app that supported the different screen resolutions and had different attributes for each screen, layouts and whatnot. But it was all, again, you downloaded one application. You could then back up that to your computer. Then with iOS 9, they went back to app thinning, which downloads. So the developers make their apps the same way. It's one universal binary, but now your device only downloads the parts of it that it needs. So the iPhone downloads the iPhone bits, the iPad will download the iPad bits, and Apple removed the option to back them up to your computer. So now I'm in a position where I have to update the apps on each individual device from the App Store, and also, in order to have the most current version on my computer, update them there too, which I've been neglectful of. So when it came to restoring these phones, or this phone I should say, I had to get on my Mac, and I saw that there were like 300 apps that required updates. And it was about 120 gigabytes worth of data that I had to download from Apple to update the apps on my Mac. Whereas before, all I would do is plug in my phone and say transfer purchases, and it would transfer them to my Mac and give me the update that way without using any bandwidth whatsoever. And of course, it was an awful lot quicker. And so Apple are directly responsible for me going over on my Comcast data at the house, and I'm a little bit irritated about it. And when I first realized they removed app thinning a number of months ago, in fact, I think I've even discussed it on the show. I did send some rather
strongly worded,
let's say strongly worded tweets to the App Store account and to Tim. Tim, I'm a shirt lifter cook. some wildly inappropriate things, and I said this is going to happen. I'm going to use up all my data. I'm going to be left with nothing, and I'm going to end up getting hit with overages and all kind of nonsense. And that's exactly what happened. Well, I obviously didn't get any overages this time, but it's
But you got an overage warning.
Yeah, well, now I'm rethinking my entire management options on my Mac, because there are third-party applications. Like, for example, I downloaded one to try. It was called iMazing. Yeah, iMazing. And it's a third-party app that lets you back up and transfer applications from your phone or your iPad to your computer. However, the full version is like $60, and I'm going to download some others and try those out as well and see what happens, because iMazing is actually quite slow. But if ever I have to back my apps up to my computer, I will be able to do it without going over on my Comcast data. So
Or you could just get an Android.
No, I mean androids are okay, but they're rubbish, aren't they?
I mean, other than being rubbish, they're okay, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean they're okay, but they're rubbish. That's a thing, right?
I
Mm-mm,
mean,
that's not
rubbish
a
is a
thing.
thing, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know. I'm in the mark. So Danielle, if you're in a researchy kind of mood, just look for like third-party iPhone backup applications, and if you come up with anything that looks good, let me know.
Did you
Uh,
just give me an assignment?
no, I'm just saying if you are in a researchy mood. Now,
I
other than
I
that,
believe that would be an action item.
Third party what?
like
Say that again.
third-party management software for iOS devices. Other than that, I may have to do what so many other people have done and just move away from iTunes entirely and just rely on the cloud. And if I ever restore my phone, go to Starbucks and do it on their connection and save my data.
Or McDonald's.
I Yeah, or McDonald's.
With an MC, not an MAC.
hmm I love using iCloud. I think it's great, but in this, I was at the Apple store and I picked up the new phone and I set up my account and it downloaded certain things. My contacts and everything were good, but applications it won't download until you get to Wi-Fi. So I have to be on Wi-Fi to download them, which means I'm gonna again blast through my data cap. Pardon me, my data cap at the house if ever I run into this problem again.
You can run it at my house. I have unlimited.
All because Tim Cook removed my back door.
Hmm.
That, by the way, is
Tim
called
Cook
a
and
segue.
the back door.
That was first of all homophobic, and secondly a segue into back
Way
doors
into
in
the.
general. So I have a vape.
So if I forget my Apple password on my phone, how do I get into it?
Hmm. Do you have an Apple phone?
I have an iPad.
Okay, you have an iPad. What version?
Most recent, I guess.
Okay. The short answer is you're screwed.
Oh.
Yeah, if you forget
Would
your
the FBI be able to help
He
me?
likes that.
I mean at this point no, and I don't think they'll ever be able to. So obviously everyone knows what's going on with Apple and the FBI. The FBI came out and they played the emotional, oh, we're going to appeal to your sensibilities card. Oh, I can't look the families of these victims in the face if we can't gain access. And I said at the time it's a bunch of bollocks. It's not one phone. It's impossible that it can be just one phone because Apple are going to have to develop this software, and the FBI are not going to hand over this phone to Apple to develop it on. And a lot of people Stephen disagreed with me. Stephen apparently trusts the government so much that he thought that it was actually going to be one phone and one phone only. I knew it was a bunch of crap. I knew that it's an argument, it's a debate about encryption. And the fact is, the FBI hate encryption. They don't like the fact that we're able to encrypt our information, our data, and that they don't get access to it.
But today, Alex, today the FBI, and I'm not saying it's true or not true, but the FBI did say today, didn't they, that they would only do it on this one phone, and they would only do it again if they had a court order, a search warrant, whatever, that allowed them to do it again.
Absolutely, but that's
Okay.
an admission that it's not just one phone.
Well, I mean, they're saying it's one phone at a time. And I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just making the point that it was addressed in the hearing today, and that the FBI guy said that they would use it in this particular instance, and that if they needed to do it again, that they would seek another court order.
You're right. They were asked, is it just this one phone? The answer is no. The answer is they have hundreds of phones that they need to gain access to.
Wait, was that the FBI's answer?
It's the FBI and the DA of Manhattan. He came in. He has 206.
170 something.
It's 100. It was
Oh, okay.
175 with his initial report, and it's up to 206 now.
No, I think the 206 was the total phones, but some of them they already had gotten into, right?
No.
Anyway, regardless.
Maybe, yes, some possibly.
It's
But,
more than 170, we'll just say that.
but the thing is,
More than one.
the
Right.
FBI laid their cards on the table today, and the FBI's side of the argument, And again, you have to remember the DA or whoever it was for Manhattan was there testifying on behalf of the FBI. And their message is this: encryption has made information warrant proof. And their hypothetical was, do we want to live in a country where that's the case?
I do.
So it's not about one phone. It's about gaining access to any phone they choose at any time. And I'll tell you why I believe that. Until 2 or 3 years ago, when the courts ruled on this initially, the Supreme Court it sent down a decision that said you have to have a warrant to search somebody's phone. Up until that point, the police and the feds would forcibly take your devices and hack into them and do whatever they wanted. Even after the court decision, it happens every day. The police constantly take people's devices. I've seen, you see videos on YouTube where they, will take somebody's phone and say, unlock this. You have to unlock this by law or you're going to jail type of rubbish. So the court order, this warrant rubbish, it's a waste. I don't care if the FBI say they'll obtain a warrant. It doesn't mean they will. The NSA didn't obtain a warrant to collect any data they got. The police have been known not to obtain a warrant to search people's phones. What possibly makes us think that the FBI is going to obtain a warrant to search the phones in their possession? They're going to take what the courts asked Apple for, and they're going to use it to break the security on any phone they choose. And another telling part of it today was Apple's attorney said that this will work on any iPhone, any device that's currently out there. This software would work on, because it's not trying to defeat the encryption. It's trying to defeat the front door to the encryption. So if you can break the passcode, you decrypt the phone. So Apple's argument is that the passcode is part of the encryption. It's the first step of the encryption, because once it's defeated, the whole device is decrypted, and which is why it'll work on every single device. If you come up with a way to hack the passcode, that's it. The encryption doesn't matter. The device will decrypt its data by default.
So here's my devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to get access, quote, to this device. And so, yeah, according to what the warrant says, they want access to this particular device.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't they take the phone to an Apple laboratory under FBI supervision and have somebody at Apple take the thing apart and, connect it up with have with their own software and provide the data off the phone?
Because that's not what they've asked for. They've asked for Apple to develop an entirely new version of iOS that defeats the front door security. It defeats the.
And that was in the court order?
Yes.
Well, and specifically what they're looking for is for Apple to get rid of that feature that causes the phone to essentially self-destruct when you've tried too many wrong codes, too many wrong passcodes.
They want to remove the auto wipe on 10 password attempts.
And
they don't want to be able to do that just on one phone. They want to be able to do that on all the phones.
Well, they want Apple to create. Supposedly that ability doesn't exist now. So they want Apple to write the software for that, for that piece. And right now, from what they were saying today, when you try a wrong password, there's a amount of time you have to wait before you can try again. And they said that with the number of passwords they'd have to try, it would literally take them 10 years to crack this phone if they got rid of that self-destruct feature.
Right. And Apple's argument is that removing that front door is by default breaking encryption on the phone, which it is, because if you enter the password correctly, then the device is decrypted and the FBI then have access to the data. in my opinion, the FBI already have access to the data. Take the phone apart, take out the NAND chip, there's your data. It's encrypted.
So why hasn't Apple come back and said, we will hack this one phone
Because
for
they
you?
know it won't be this one phone, and the FBI admitted that today. The Judicial Committee, it was Darrell Issa. He said, "What happens if Apple deliver you what you're asking for? Will you use it on other devices?" And Comey said, "Yes, we will. With a court order, we will use it on other devices."
But then they would have to get a court order for every device they want to use it on.
But they
That's
got this
fine.
court order,
Yeah,
so why would they not get another one?
That's fine though, but it opens the door then to everybody approaching.
But I'm
and
fine
asking
if
for court
if
orders.
a federal judge wants them to have access to a phone. I mean, that's what we
Right, but
elect
if
them to
that
do.
okay, if the argument is if they create this vulnerability, the vulnerability exists and it will eventually get into the hands of hackers or people with bad intent, and that it will make all of us vulnerable, every single one of us.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm saying is that should stay back with Apple
But it
in
won't.
that
And the
they would
right.
deliver it in some
But it
way.
won't. Now, the FBI, again, the FBI at a press conference said, we'll deliver the phone to Apple, they get to keep it, blah, blah, blah. That was all a bunch of bullshit. Every bit of that was untrue.
Yeah.
And we already knew it was untrue because of what the court order said. But again, Comey said so much in the hearing today. Apple won't get that phone. Apple are required to deliver to them a hard drive with a version of iOS that will defeat the security on on a phone, on the device.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree with Apple if that's the case.
Yeah. We'll talk about this more. We got a break now. We'll talk about this more when we get back.
Alex, did you? Sorry, are we breaking?
Yeah,
Are we broken?
Are we broken?
We broke.
Okay. Did you hear towards the end? It might have been like 10 minutes from the end of the whole deal today. The lady, I can't remember her name, the one on the second panel that talked really, really fast with the gray hair. She made the point that the NSA has technology and capabilities that they're not willing to use because once they use them, people know they have them.
Right.
So,
and that's the whole argument that Apple's making. Once it's out there, it's out there.
but no.
And if the NSA admit that if the NSA can use that capability, people know it's out there.
The point being, the NSA might already have it or be able to do it them damn selves. Like Apple's saying, we won't do this. Why doesn't the NSA just do it? And she said, there's lots of stuff that the NSA can do or has the ability to do that they won't do because people then know that they can do it.
Right.
Which I thought was just, I don't even know the word.
So the insinuation is that the NSA can actually already do this hack that they want.
With enough,
but they refuse to do it because they don't want to scare the public.
Or there's no reason to think they can't do it.
Right, but with enough computing power, you or I could do it. All you have to do is disassemble the phone, get the NAND chips off the phone, and decrypt the data. The FBI don't want to do that because it could take years. It could take 20, 30 years to decrypt the data because it's 256-bit AES encryption. That's what the FBI are trying to get around. They're trying to get around the fact that the devices are encrypted. They don't want to live in a world where they have to defeat encryption, which is why their whole argument is we need to be able to break into these devices in a manner that defeats the encryption. Well, it violates statutes that Obama put into place, first of all. And Apple have a number of constitutional reasons why they oppose this. We'll talk about those when we go back on the air. But yeah, I knew from day one that the FBI's argument that this is just one phone, I knew it was bullshit because they've been talking about this since iOS 7 was released. Apple have been dealing with the federal government And governments all over the world since iOS 7 was released with on-device encryption, because it pissed off a bunch of police forces and a bunch of federal authorities. It pissed them off that our data is now actually protected.
And I know that another, and I'm sorry, I'm walking around my house. I know that another common complaint, and I was just playing devil's advocate about that.
I know.
But I know that another common complaint is, what if another government had required that from Apple?
Right. Well, they will.
Then how would it play out?
If Apple create,
You know,
if Apple create the technology to break encryption on these devices, then everybody is going to be going to Apple and subpoenaing them or whatever it takes to
in their country.
to get a version of
What
this.
if it was the Chinese government that said, "Hey, we need you to break every device because that's our
Right.
law"?
Well, the French have said today that they're going to start fining Apple €1 million for every device they refuse to unlock. Well, to me, it's not a refusal to unlock it. It's a commitment to the customer that we're not going to provide the government with a vulnerability that could come back and harm your data.
I think Apple should just come back and say, you know what? To unlock it costs $100 billion.
Here's what I said. Well, you both, I think you both saw this on Facebook. My solution to this is, okay, forget the court order, give us the phone, we will do whatever research and development we need to do on this one phone only. We're not going to touch any other phone. If it works, it works. If it breaks the phone, it breaks the phone. That's what they should do. If the FBI want to argue,
Yeah, that's not good enough.
if
the
argue,
FBI will never go for that.
I know they won't, but that's because they want to argue that in public.
No, because it's chain of evidence.
Okay, but this is what the FBI have been arguing in public. They've been saying in public, it's just this one phone. We'll deliver it to Apple. We'll do this and we'll do that. And
They've
yet,
never said they would deliver it to Apple.
Yes, they did.
I
thought
they did not.
No, they most certainly have. They've said they will hand deliver it to Apple. They will let Apple unlock it. They will get the data they need. They will let Apple keep it, and never said anything about destroying it after the fact. But they have said publicly it never needs to leave Apple.
Hmm?
Yet, when it gets down to brass tacks in the committee hearing, no, absolutely not. Apple need to deliver to them a version of iOS on a hard disk that they can use in the FBI's headquarters or offices, whatever it is, and then have the ability to unlock any phone they choose in the future. And I know they say with a warrant, but we all know that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, if they say with a warrant, then it could come down to,
but
your
we
local
know that's
sheriff's
not the case.
warrant.
Yeah, everybody knows that's not the case. The police don't use warrants to unlock phones. They just don't. The authorities do whatever they want to do.
Everyone can get a warrant. I mean, that's easy.
But this is the thing. In a lot of cases, they don't. They're using the argument of lawful possession, in which case they don't need a warrant to unlock it because they have it in their lawful possession, in which case they can unlock them anytime they choose. Well, that means all they have to do is come up to you and charge you with something, take your phone, claim lawful possession, and go ahead and hack it, whether you're suspected of committing a crime or not. And it's a small step from there to coming up with a vulnerability that allows them to do it over the air. I don't know. It concerns me. It concerns me after
what happened to Danielle?
The government for years was
There she is.
pushing.
I hung up on you, sorry.
The government for years was pushing companies to develop strong encryption to protect their customers and protect data, and to protect the government and government employees on their own, on their devices. And now obviously it's gotten to a point that they can't tolerate it any longer, and we've taken away the NSA's ability to snoop on everybody, so now they need another avenue. What I think.
Ruby, what do you think? Call in.
That would be so fun. We should get her in the hangout.
Or you could call it 678-760-1556.
It's +1 678.
01 or 1.
I don't know. I have no idea.
He was just being
I'm
sassy.
from Canada. We just dial 1.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got 15 seconds. We're going back.
What are we going to talk about?
This still.
I think we
Alex
solved
isn't
it.
I haven't solved it. My back.
I like Danielle's red shirt, though, for SEC Day.
Go Dogs.
All right, here we go. All right, we're back.
Sorry.
There they are.
Yeah, there they are. We're still talking about this FBI nonsense that's going on. So let's talk about Apple's arguments. They have a few constitutional arguments for this case. First of all, the Fourth Amendment, obviously, the right to privacy and unlawful search and seizure, etc. They're also making a First Amendment and a Fifth Amendment claim, though. Courts have already determined that computer code is considered speech. Okay? So Apple are arguing that by being forced to make a version of the code, they are being forced into speech that they are not willing to engage in, which I think is quite a clever argument, to be honest with you. They're taking a court ruling and using it in their favor. They're being coerced into a form of speech they choose not to engage in by the government. I think that's a pretty clever argument for a third party.
I don't know. To me, that's kind of a stretch, but okay.
Yeah, their Fifth Amendment claim is that they're being coerced into servitude, into working for the government against their will, which violates the Fifth Amendment.
Now I've always had that opinion that, like, wait a minute, you're telling us we have to spend our money, our resources to do your job.
Yeah. Now, the FBI have said they'll be reimbursed for everything. However, they're being forced to do it. There would be nothing voluntary about this whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, what's to say they can't say it's worth $200 billion? And I use the Austin.
That's what I would do. That's what I would do. $200 billion will unlock your damn phone, but just the one.
Yep.
Who knows? I think the First Amendment claim is a good one because, yeah, the courts determined that computer code is protected under the First Amendment. It is a form of speech. And the government trying to the attorney said it's speech that we are not willing to make. I think that's a pretty good argument.
I just think in general, they're requiring a private company, or I guess they're a publicly traded company, to spend resources that just aren't, like, they're not at the government's beck and call.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for the government, to be honest, because yesterday a federal I don't know what court it was, Dan, yesterday. Do you recall?
I think wasn't it a state? I don't know. Keep talking. I'll find
Was
it.
it? Anyway.
It just says New York judge.
Okay.
Rules feds can't. Go ahead.
Yeah, a judge yesterday ruled that the government cannot. Now, this is a separate case in New York for a drug dealer, and I guess the New York DA is trying to break into this phone, and the court determined that they cannot use the All Writs Act to compel Apple to break into this phone for them. That the claim does not, the All Writs Act does not, meet the requirements, I guess, to compel that. That's the same claim the FBI is using in the San Bernardino case. So it's certainly not looking good for them. That was brought up in fact, it was put into the official record at the hearing today. It's not looking good for the government, and I'm glad about that because I want I want my data to be protected. Our phones now are, I mean, everything about us is on these devices these days. You know,
But it's sad on the other hand.
it's
I
almost an extension of
I
your.
want to feel protected by my government, not you know infiltrated by them.
Well, yeah, you want to feel protected by them, not that you have to be protected from them. Like it feels
Exactly.
like Apple has to protect us from what the government's trying to do to us.
And
Yeah.
that's what's really sad here.
What was it? Benjamin Franklin. Those who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither and shall lose both, or some shit like that. And that's kind of how I feel about this. You know, the government again. The FBI are using this emotional argument about the San Bernardino massacre and the families, and they're trying to play on our sympathies.
And I'm
And
sure the drug dealers,
right, and
families
I
in
hear
New
people
York are
saying,
saying the
I
same thing.
yeah, I hear people saying all the time, well, when you're a terrorist, you give up your rights, and I agree, you're absolutely right. But I'm still alive. Why should I have to give up my rights?
Yeah.
And that's what it all boils down to. It boils down to them being able to force everybody else to forfeit their right to privacy so that they have carte blanche to open any device they choose. And I got to tell you, that's a problem for me, a big problem. And the funny thing is, the same people I hear making the argument about terrorists give up their rights are the same people that will be the first to say, don't blame all gun owners for the actions of a terrorist, right? But they're more than willing to sacrifice their freedom and liberty when it comes to a cell phone. Well, I want to ask these people, and if any of them are listening, I hope you are. Anybody with this attitude that if you have nothing to hide, which is a bullshit argument, if you honestly believe the government's job is to protect you and not prosecute you, then call in because we have a problem. The government, the FBI, this came up in the this came up in the hearing today. The DA of, or whoever he was he the DA, Dan? I don't know.
Yeah, yes.
DA of Manhattan said, well, it's imperative that we get access to this data so we're able to fully prosecute people, or more importantly, exonerate people. I don't know how he got away with that. Why somebody in that committee didn't say, oh yeah, how many people that come that come in front of your path, how many of those people are you actually out to exonerate?
You're the district attorney.
Yeah. You have people working for you that are called prosecutors, not exonerators. And the fact is, they'll use any evidence they can. They will, even like your Google search history. One of the first things they do when they're looking to prosecute you for a crime is go examine your Google search history just to find something. It may not be actual evidence against you, but it can be incriminating. And it can make you look bad, and they will use it against you. And if you honestly believe the government won't do that to you, you're insane. It's their job. Their job is to prosecute people and put them in prison. They'll use any means necessary to do that. I have nothing to hide. Bullshit, you don't have anything to hide. Everything you've ever done, your digital footprint is fair game, and they will use it. And if you've ever said anything untoward on Facebook, if you've ever acted like a jackass on Twitter,
Dude,
fortunately, none of us have ever done that.
That's right. If you've ever acted like a dick on Twitter, if you've ever said, "Oh man, I hate the president and, I wish he was gone," or some shit like that, they're going to come and use it against you to get a conviction. I want my data, what I consider innocuous data, I want it encrypted and I want it protected so that it cannot be used in evidence against me. That's their whole spiel. Anything you say and do will be used in evidence against you. That includes everything you do on your phone, everything you do online. Anything you've ever done will come back to haunt you. And It may be completely innocuous, but they will find a way to make it implicate you. That's their job, and they are very good at it. And innocent people get locked up every day because they are very good at it. The chips are stacked against you from day one. These prosecutors have unlimited budgets. They can do anything they choose to they can hire any investigators they want. They can hire any experts they choose to put you in jail. In the meantime, you have a public defender with zero budget whose only job is to get you to plea bargain. If honestly, if you think this justice system is designed to actually protect the innocent, you're fucking insane.
I'm
And-
just glad I do most of my nefarious stuff at your house. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Jump on your neighbor's Wi-Fi. So I hear this. Well, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to worry about. That's bullshit. It's absolute bollocks. I guarantee you, if I were ever charged with something, and they started going through everything, social media and things like that, they're going to come up with things that make me look like a shitty person. That would taint me in front of a jury and would guarantee a conviction. And if you think they should have the ability to go find all that stuff and you not have the ability to protect yourself and cover your own ass, then I'm sorry. You and I guess our opinions differ.
I have actually Googled some like really weird stuff that I've maybe seen a documentary or seen a movie about or seen on TV, and I've actually texted Danielle and said, by the way, if something ever happens to me and someone finds this, you know what it came from. It came from blah, blah, blah.
Right. And, don't get me wrong. They're doing their job. And this is what I'm saying. They're very, very good at it. And if you're guilty of what you've been charged with, I'm glad they're good at it. The problem is we end up with so many people who are innocent, who are convicted because of this extraneous evidence that has nothing to do with the things they're charged with. And it's insane. And it's because our right to privacy has been stripped and diminished at every step. As soon as a roadblock is put in the way, they have to legislate in order to remove that roadblock. So it started 20 years ago with encrypted phone calls, encrypted conversations, right? Well, they got with the phone carriers and they found a back door to decrypt phone calls. They do it on digital devices now. So the FBI, all they're after is a quick, simple way to be able to break into people's phones. They have the ability to do it now. All they have to do is disassemble the phone, take out the NAND chips, and decrypt the data that's on the chip. That's all they have to do. The problem is, with 256-bit AES encryption, it could take years and years and years and massive amounts of computing power. And that's what they don't want. They want immediate access so that they can use anything they find in evidence against you so that they can lock you up. Hopefully you're guilty of whatever they're charging you with, but in way too many cases, you're not guilty. You're completely innocent, but this extraneous evidence gets used against you. It taints you in the eyes of a jury, and this justice system, which is stacked against you from day one, makes you a victim and puts you in jail. That is my problem with the whole thing.
We are guilty until proven innocent.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that's exactly what it is. And these people that want to say, well, if you've got nothing to hide, brilliant. If you feel like you have nothing to hide, submit to searches every day. Give the police the key to your house and let them come in and rummage around. Trust me, they'll find something to charge you with. That's their job. They're not there to help you. They're there to prosecute. That's what they do. They catch criminals and they put them in jail. That's why we have a justice system. Granted, they do a good job. Don't get me wrong. They do a really good job, but I don't believe everybody needs to sacrifice their freedom and liberty for the sake of a few freaking criminals. 200 phones here, 400 phones, whatever. I don't care what the number is. We should not have to sacrifice our liberties because of the actions of what could be, criminals or degenerates or terrorists or whatever.
They should only put like a lower encryption on criminals' phones.
Right, I agree. That's right. That's Jesus Christ. But I mean, do you see my point? It's the same argument that the same people that are calling for Apple to unlock this phone are the very same people that will tell you don't blame all gun owners for the actions of one. And it makes no sense to me. If that's your attitude, if you believe that the criminal is responsible and you should not have to give up your rights because of that criminal, then you should support Apple in this argument. Simple as that.
I think it's probably a lot of misunderstanding, especially when the FBI is saying we only want access to this phone. And they're very specific every time they say that.
Well, you're absolutely right. In public, in their press conferences and in the media, that's exactly what they say. You get them in front of the House Judiciary Committee, that is entirely not what they said.
And the other thing is the news media isn't reporting what they say in front of the, all these other people. They're just saying they only want access.
Honestly, you would think the media would be right behind this, be behind Apple, because look at what they have to lose, right? Look at they use wireless devices on all of their broadcasts these days. Everything they do is wireless, and everything they do is encrypted and protected. Imagine if they went to whoever develops the software the media uses. The government goes to them and says, oh, no, you need to give us a back door into this.
Yeah.
Not even a back door. They're asking for a front door. They're asking for Apple to unlock the front door. Make it so we can enter passcodes. Here's my advice to you, Apple. Your next version of the operating system should require a 10-digit numeric passcode. Or, no, even better, it should require a 12-digit alphanumeric passcode in order to unlock your phone. Touch ID, obviously, after you've unlocked it the first time. And that would do away with this problem right there. Then Apple could give them the code and say, sure, go ahead, brute force it. It'll take you 60 years.
Alex, did you
catch... If only the guy would have done a thumbprint.
Did you catch during the thing today that the FBI guy kept saying, well, we'll crack the whatchamacallit, the numeric sequence. We have the technology to do that. All that we need for you to do is, like he was acting like the FBI was going to do the heavy lifting.
Right.
Like,
right.
We've got the technology to go through the sequences of numbers. All we need you to do is make it so it doesn't crash the phone, and that we don't have to wait the amount of time that it forces you to wait between wrong guesses.
Yeah, remove the delay and remove the auto wipe, and we'll be fine. And of course they would. With a 4-digit passcode, that's 10,000 possible combinations. Right. A computer will whiz through that in a couple of hours.
Right. Actually, correction, that's 9,999.
Okay, and with a 6-digit passcode, they could do it in a couple of weeks, right? But with a 12-digit alphanumeric passcode, it would take them years. So, Apple could ultimately do that. Or you have the ability to do that, by the way, on any iPhone right now. Instead of using a 6-digit passcode, you can set an alphanumeric password as your device password. Now, Keith said, it's a shame he didn't set up a thumbprint. Well, on his device, there's no fingerprint, there's no Touch ID sensor. However, even on devices with Touch ID, remember that when you start the device, Keith, Touch ID doesn't work until you type in the passcode. You have to type in your passcode in order to enable Touch ID. So
I only have a little interaction with an iPhone when I have it on call,
yeah,
and
well,
we've all set up our thumbprint to open it up. But
yeah, well, some lefty in the committee hearing today was talking about he was implying that other countries have access to technology that we don't, and they're able to break into these devices when we're not able to, because he said when people leave Yemen, they are told to power off your phone and don't turn it back on until until you're at your destination, because otherwise they can get all your data and stuff like that. And so obviously this DA, or whoever he was, this DA from Manhattan, was making it sound like, well, then obviously they have the technology to break into this, when we don't, and we need that technology. And again, nobody from Apple was in the committee hearing at the time. It was just a bunch of congressmen. But if anybody there understood the technology, they would know that they're told to power off the device, because then if somebody does take it from you and they turn it back on, you have to enter the passcode before you can use your fingerprint. So
Oh.
what they're saying is, if you leave your device on and Touch ID is already activated, somebody could cut off your thumb and use your thumb to unlock your device. So their advice is to shut it off completely, so that if anyone takes your device, they have to have a passcode in order to get in, and whatever they do, cutting off your hand or cutting off your thumbs, whatever they do in Yemen would not work. But people are now, again, they were implying that it was terrorists that were told to do this. It was a recommendation to terrorists traveling. It's actually a recommendation to any citizen who
No,
has.
no, he was talking about when the politicians fly there, that they tell them when they're sitting on the airplane
Okay.
before they get off the plane to power your phone down, and that while they're sitting on the plane, they were far enough away that people didn't have access to their information so they could make phone calls or whatever.
Okay.
So I still don't have any idea what the shit he was talking about. Because,
I'm thinking Wi-Fi sniffers.
yeah, like the scanner
'Cause, you know,
things.
well, I mean, you can still get like Wi-Fi sniffers, like Fiddler and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
capture.
any wireless data from an iPhone though is encrypted, so it wouldn't do them any good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I
But
thought
yeah,
he was talking about people traveling, because I know that people in these countries do that. They shut it down.
no, he said they themselves were advised while they're sitting on the plane on the tarmac that they can make a phone call right then, but to power off their devices.
Yeah, it doesn't
Um,
surprise me. I mean, it's a good security measure. Um, in fact, I know the first thing I'll do if there's a chance that my phone is going to be taken from me, I will power it off. I will power it off. That way, when they turn it back on, it's going to require a passcode. And my passcode is one of the 6-digit ones, which will take longer to be cracked.
You just sounded kind of like Liam Neeson right there.
All right, we've actually gone through a break. We're going to take this. But you know what? We'll talk about something else when we get back. Fair enough.
okay. Yeah, I'm done with this.
All right. Although I don't know what we're going to talk about when we get back.
I know, we spent all day worrying about this.
Yeah. Surge pricing at Walt Disney.
We could talk about, we might want to move away from Apple, about how the court tossed out Apple's $120 million patent win over Samsung.
Yeah, we can talk about that. That's just
I don't,
one.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
Apple's set to unveil smaller iPhone and iPad on March 21st.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Do you know anything about it?
A little bit. iPhone S.
I'm grotesquely ill. I spent all week reading about freaking Flint, Michigan, and then today, like, reading about I got engrossed.
Yeah. Well, I have a theory about this Apple event, because I don't know what happened to Keith there.
Oh, did he fall off?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can't see you though.
Camera.
All right. I'm just Googling. So
Oh,
Okay.
can you see what I'm doing?
No. I just see a.
That would be creepy if you could see what I was
That
doing.
would be super creepy.
All I see is blowing the Stanley Cup.
Oh, okay. I was looking because I actually got an email about an update for the Huawei,
Oh,
and they were moving away from Android Wear to something else.
The Hawaii.
Huawei. And so I was going to see if I could find out what that was. You know, just to get us off the Apple.
right. There's a new Raspberry Pi. Is that what it is? What's the Pi thing? The Pi computer thing?
I love the Raspberry Pis, although I haven't been involved in much in the new Raspberry Pis.
Yeah, I think the new one has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, maybe?
Yeah, and you know, they're obviously the credit card sized computers, quote. I've got like 4 of them in a
Oh,
rack.
nice.
I know.
Pies and racks.
Just,
Um,
just made you a little excited there, didn't I?
a little bit.
Yeah.
The Bee Genius toothbrush knows where you're scrubbing and when you miss a spot. It's like a smart toothbrush.
Wow.
I know I'm reaching.
No, I mean, no, I'm kind of excited. Oh, why am I on the YouTube?
Where are you?
No, why am I the primary on the YouTube?
I see me because I'm talking. Oh yeah, there you are now.
Every time you're not talking, it's me.
Oh yeah, where's Al? Alex, are you there?
Kind of creepy.
Yeah, I'm here.
The YouTube isn't, I guess, because we keep talking. Maybe you're like crinkling papers and stuff, Keith, and
Well,
it's picking it up.
I'm off Googling, and now I'm like looking at myself, and I can't Google.
Oh, there's Al.
I'm here. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading a message.
No, you're good. It's just that the picture was switching back and forth between mine and Keith's big heads. You were not in the rotation.
Huawei update 2006. Now, I will say that I got this email from Huawei.
Dude, where's your microphone?
I don't know. It's like it's my normal place.
It was covered up or something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're much better now.
Oh. I've never had a woman say that.
We have a minute, and then we'll be back in.
Have you ever had a woman say that? I don't know.
When we get back, Danielle, just start a topic.
Okay.
And
What are we going to talk about? Do we know?
whatever you choose.
Oh, come on now.
You want.
Let's talk about the Airbnb.
I got pretty much.
Oh yeah, the Airbnb was fun. So
So you
okay,
guys have
very
actual
quick.
experience with Airbnb? Is that the story?
No, but I've been watching a show called The League, which is about a football league, and
Yes.
it's just hilarious. And this guy has this thing called the EBDB B&B. It's very funny.
Oh, here we go. Oh, wait. Nope, bare naked ladies are playing. Never mind.
Okay.
Yay! You know, one day back up in Toronto, and this is like 22 years ago, the Bare Naked Ladies were scheduled to play, and the mayor of Toronto came out and said, "This is disgusting." Yeah,
He thought it was some bare naked ladies?
he just thought it was something dirty, and it like totally
Hysterical.
wasn't, because it's like the Bare Naked Ladies.
Right.
Yeah, that was some major backpedaling.
That's funny.
Remind me to do a 907 update before the end
I
of
was
the
going to
show.
ask you when you were vaping a little while ago.
Where's your Guinness?
It's right here. I'm just having the lawn.
All right.
All right, let me make some Airbnb dead folks notes.
Tori Nunaka posted a photo. I got to go look at it.
Who did?
Tori Nunaka.
All right, I've got to go.
She's a spokesperson.
I'm going
One
to
of the,
put myself on mute.
one of the
Okay.
best shooters in the world, and she's a spokesmodel.
Oh, I know who that is.
for Glock.
Is that the young lady?
Oh yeah.
Okay, stop that. Dead, killed. I think Kurt finally just got home. I thought he'd been home for like 10 minutes, so I let the dogs out of my office. So they've been down there just running amok. Dead body in France.
Uh, 907. Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Surge pricing for Disney if we want to talk about it. They're rapey enough if you ask me, but holy hell.
A town called Salem, Oregon, bought some goats to maintain their parks. We could talk about how that went.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I bet it was great.
Oh,
All right.
it was a fantastic idea.
We're going back. All right, we're back. We're getting off the FBI nonsense. We're going to move on to some other nonsense, although I'm not sure what just yet. Well, actually, I know one thing. Let's talk about House Bill 907. We
Yes.
had Senator Van Ness in here last week, along with Charlie from Vape Forward, discussing the bill. And the very next day, the bill went dead, which was nice. Now, I'm not going to claim any credit. I think it was just a happy coincidence. No, a lot of people were watching that night, and a lot of people have watched the replay. So, maybe some people in the legislature actually did watch and pay attention. Today is crossover day, and it never made it for crossover. So it is now officially gone for this session. Pardon me, at least in that form. There is another bill currently in the House, which is a smoking bill, and there's a slight concern that 907 may be resurrected and attached to that bill as and they try to sneak it through that way. So we've got to keep an eye on them right now and make sure nothing shady goes on. Just be vigilant. So anybody that hasn't followed the link that I posted on the Tech Talk page, please go take a look and spend a few minutes of your time filling out the information and sending the necessary emails. But I think, oh, sorry, Bill Funderburk was here obviously last week as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention Bill.
And Charlie, did you mention Charlie in the hangout?
Charlie. Bill of the GSFA, who have done all the work in the background, and they're the ones that got this bill killed. But it was nice that it went dead the very next day after the show. Again, happy coincidence. But I think we had a good discussion. I think we had a nice debate here. They're all welcome back. Obviously, Bill, you're welcome back anytime. Charlie, anytime. And of course, Senator Van Ness. I know she'll come on again in the future for something or other. Not sure what yet, but we'll come up with something that annoys me and I want to complain about. So yeah, there's 907. Hopefully it's dead and gone. The House resolution, by the way, HR whatever it was, 1458, that would have created the study committee.
Mm-hmm.
The people that were backing House Bill 907 are obviously opposing the study committee because they do not want legislators to understand vaping. Yeah, basically, for them, the less information our representatives have, the better it is for them to get their bill crammed through. Because knowledge, obviously, if you understand vaping and you look at the science, and there's only one conclusion that you can draw, and that's that it's a lot safer than smoking cigarettes. So Anyway, there's a bit of good news. I was happy about that.
All right, congrats, Al.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very good news.
yeah, it was real good news. All right, what else we got, Danny?
We got little Airbnb news. Um, there's I guess it's a company corporation, I don't know, called Airbnb, Air Bed and Breakfast, which Alex, I think you said you have contracted with them.
Well, I've used them. I've used the app and booked a hotel with them. I booked a place down in Florida a while ago, and just for 2 nights.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Uber, where you go on and you make arrangements with the people that own the place. It's not like you're dealing with Marriott or Marriott or Holiday Inn or somebody. So it's like a person-to-person kind of exchange. But much like Uber, there are some sort of nefarious events starting to pop up around these places. One story that I just read, I shouldn't laugh, this is so horrible. Um, a couple was staying at a place in France and found a dead body in the garden in the backyard, which I think will put a damper on your vacation. Um,
Hmm.
what the article said was that it was a decaying body of a woman. I think it said she was wearing a dress and had a big ring on her finger. Or she had on a dress and shoes.
Did she have a cell phone with her?
It did not say if she had a cell phone.
I was going to say if she did, best get that to the FBI pretty sharpish.
Right. Get that thing
Or the
decrypted.
French equivalent of the FBI, the
Yeah.
gendarme.
Um, Another one, I think in Texas, a man was there with his family and there was a rope swing, like a tree rope swing, and he was swinging on it and the branch broke and killed him dead. Um,
Yeah.
so
I imagine I don't know if they have to have liability insurance because this is how Airbnb works. Even if all you have is a single room for rent, you can list it in Airbnb and rent it out. A lot of people, there are hotel rooms listed, there are residences listed. It's a rental sharing system basically. So my understanding is they're supposed to do background checks and also check out the property before they allow you to even list it in Airbnb. Now, how extensive they are, how much scrutiny they put people under, I don't know. Because, Lyft and Uber do background checks as well, and you still end up with problems there,
right.
right? Didn't a driver kill somebody recently, an Uber driver?
Yeah, it's the night of the Super Bowl, he killed a guy, picked up a fare, and then killed another guy.
Yeah. So, how extensive the background checks are. And again, you can't.
Apparently, that guy had no criminal background, though.
Right, that's what
So-
they're saying, yeah, that
Because you can't rule
But
out
there-
crime, right?
There have been instances where Uber drivers were like impersonating their brother who didn't have a criminal record and that sort of thing. So
Yeah. Now, obviously, if I show up to a Airbnb property in France and there's a dead body in the backyard, I'll be straight down the local Radisson looking for a room
Right.
because there's something shady going on there. As for the branch falling off of a tree and cracking somebody on their noggin and killing them, I mean
that's just bad luck.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate accident, obviously. However,
And chances are he was a fat ass that shouldn't have been getting on a tree
I
swing.
wonder though if Airbnb participants are required to carry any kind of liability insurance.
It says in the article that Airbnb has $1 million insurance. I don't know if it's on each time somebody stays there. I don't know what the details are, but Airbnb does carry some kind of insurance. There's another story where the people that rented the place were the ones being naughty. They rented a place with the intent of having a sex party, which they advertised as a XXX freak Fest and did 87,076 or caused $87,076 in losses. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're called party houses, right? And after the real estate crash, a lot of real estate investors were buying up properties and turning them into party houses, and we've had an issue with them here in Conyers and Covington, where because they were attracting well, first of all, they're in the middle of existing neighborhoods, and so on a Friday and Saturday night there would be hundreds of cars parked clogging up the roads, all this noise and kerfuffle coming from the party houses. Of course, there's drugs and all kind of weird sex stuff going on in there, and there were also a gunfight at one of these places.
Oh my
um,
gosh.
yeah, the problem was the sheriff and the county commission were powerless because there was absolutely nothing in the county ordinances that prohibited these party houses. And
Well, wait. I mean, if they get complaints from the neighbors, they got to show up and tell people to get lost.
sure, they'll show up and tell. Well, I mean, I don't know what they do. Tell them to keep it down or turn down the music or start kicking people out.
Yeah,
or
and then if they don't do it, then they show up a second time. They
Right.
arrest people.
But of course, the person then rents it out the next week or the next night and has another. Again, it's a party house, right? So it was an ongoing problem. And again,
Oh, okay.
the authorities ended up powerless. They weren't able to shut them down.
Hmm.
Some
I think I would be inviting my favorite cop over to my house to sit and arrest all night long.
Yeah, I mean, you would assume they could do that if people were actually breaking laws. Merely having the party there, apparently not a crime.
There are sound ordinances.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, possibly. I know that one of the ladies, one of the women that used to be on Just for Fun, Anise, the doctor, she's a PhD. One of these party houses, I think, appeared in her neighborhood, and she did everything she could to try and get it shut down, and to no avail.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the status is now. I'll have to check into it. But yeah, these places are a bit of a nightmare. Yeah, now, of course, $80,000 worth of damage. I imagine the owner is covered by his insurance, right? I mean, I would
Not if he rents it out on
well,
his
I mean,
own.
there's going to be some kind of insurance coverage that covers that. You
Well,
can't.
this, I think, let me go back to the article. I think this guy was a renter. So I think it was like an apartment.
Oh,
Um, yeah. And so I guess he, sublet it, whatever, for the weekend.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And we thought rock and rollers in hotel rooms were a problem.
Uh-huh.
Nope, it's single guys in their rental homes. That's the real problem. So this Apple event, which has been moved now to March 21st, which is very coincidental, by the way. It was rumored to be on March 12th, and they've moved it to March 21st, which is the day before they go back to court for their appeal, right? So
Really?
here's what I think is going to happen. All right, so the rumors are a new iPhone, a small 4-inch iPhone that people have been speculating it will be called the iPhone 5 SE or some nonsense like that. Little 4-inch form factor phone with Touch ID and whatnot. The exact phone I wanted, by the way, 2 years ago, and now I have this monstrosity. And a new iPad Air version 3, that's rumored to be there. Here's what I think is going to happen, though. And I think the dates and the timing are not coincidental. I think there's a reason for it. Beta 5 of iOS 9.3 got released today to developers. I believe that on March 21st, Apple will release the gold version of iOS 9.3. I believe it will include iCloud encryption, end-to-end encryption, 256-bit AES encryption for iCloud data. And it'll firm up some kind of security on the device. I think it will mandate six-digit passwords for all phones, if not longer. I would love to see 8-digit passwords, numeric passwords on iPhones. I think they're going to beef up this security and then go into court the next day and say, we'll unlock this phone. Any other phone, we're not going to be able to. They are now too secure.
Oh, that's smart.
Yep. That's
But what about all of the other phones that...
Doesn't matter. The court order only covers the one phone, and they'll be using the FBI's own argument against the FBI.
Well, it only covers the one phone for now.
Yeah.
But they've said, I mean, today they all but said that once they get the access to the one phone, they're going to go after more.
Which is fine. Here's what I'm saying. Any person that upgrades to the newest version of iOS 9.3,
right,
there will be nothing Apple can do about it. If you have an 8-digit numeric passcode, it would take probably 5 years to crack that passcode. Even with a brute force attack, it would take 5 years to do it. The FBI aren't going to bother. They're not going to. They can't let. If the only evidence they have on somebody is potential evidence on a cell phone, they're not going to be able to hold them for 5 years until they crack the phone. So the FBI are going to give up on that, and they'll go the other route, the route I think they need to go, which was suggested today by the encryption expert at the hearing, which is develop your own technology to work around this. And she said that's what the NSA have done. She said the NSA have developed their own technology to work around this problem, and that's what the police need to do. It's 21st century policing. I said it the day you remember the day this became an issue. My post on Facebook said it's time to start doing some actual police work. I think that's what they're going to have to do. Hey, look, Peter's on the show.
Yeah. He decided to come in and say hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Kitty.
So yeah, I think Apple will drop a bomb on the old Tim Cook will come out, say 8-digit passwords, 256-bit iCloud encryption, nothing we can do. Drop the mic, take off, go take one in the butt.
Alex.
I mean, isn't that what they do after keynotes? I don't know, something like that. So yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. You heard it here first. Anybody that's listening.
You know what? It makes a lot of sense.
I would love to see them do that because it gets them out of a sticky situation.
Yep, they can go in. They can comply with the current court order. They can tell everybody else update your phones today.
Yeah,
right?
If you don't want, if you want the FBI to be able to hack your phone, then don't update.
Exactly.
Otherwise, update.
If you have nothing to hide, don't update. So yeah, up to everybody. The phones that they already have that they need to break into, they'll be able to break into. We know that because as soon as Apple hand over this technology, the FBI have admitted they're going to use it on other devices. So there you go. They get to do it on these devices they currently have, and Apple is unable from that point on, unable to crack any more phones.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll even.
And then the moment the next one comes along, they do another one.
Yeah, and I think they will even add code to the secure enclave on the phone itself in hardware that prevents you from updating the operating system even by brute force without first entering the passcode. Yeah. So, and that will eliminate this front door vulnerability. That's what I think is going to happen March 21st, and if y'all have anything to add to that, we'll talk about it after the break. If not, we'll move on. All right, we're on break. I just think the timing is a bit too coincidental. Moving the date of the keynote to the day before they go to court, or that they have to go back to court for their appeal, I think it's a bit coincidental. And I honestly think that's what they're going to do. They're going to toughen up security to where they can, on future phones, they can no longer do what the FBI is requesting of them, which they admit right now they can do to every single phone until they update them. As soon as they update them, that's it. You encode something into the secure enclave that refuses a brute force software update without a passcode. What it means is, so right now you can use a mode called DFU mode, device firmware update. What you do is a special combination to reboot the iPhone that puts it into a mode where it talks to iTunes to accept a signed operating system, and it requires no interaction after that. I think what Apple will do is rework the secure enclave to where even in DFU mode, it requires the password. The password will be embedded in the chip rather than in software. That's what I think they will do, and that will do away with any more nonsense with the FBI. Because from that point on, once it's hardware encoded, there's nothing they can do. Absolutely nothing they
Can
do.
you imagine being one of the programmers?
I mean, but once that chip is programmed, once it's flashed, there's nothing Apple can do from that point on.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best move they could make. I know that the government would be a bit upset, a little bit pissy, but I still believe my privacy is more important than that of a dead terrorist.
I agree.
And I have nothing to hide, and I don't care. It's the very virtue that I have nothing to hide that reinforces that protection I have.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, what's to say that at some point someone doesn't say, hey, there was a robbery at this place. Let's pull up.
I don't know if we lost Keith there or not.
Oh, I didn't know if that was him or me.
It might have been me.
There you are.
Did anyone see that? Hey, Danny, you remember Torsten Hines that took over at BlackBerry
Yes.
and then got ousted?
Yes.
He went to
Does
he
BlackBerry still exist?
yeah, they're still around. He went to the after BlackBerry, he went to PowerMat, the wireless charging people. He got ousted from there today.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Poor old Torsten.
Poor guy can't catch a break.
Yeah. Poor little Nazi.
You're doing it again.
He didn't say Muzzy.
I said plenty of muzzies earlier. Danielle was getting pretty upset.
For a guy who wants people to stop painting with broad brushes, you're painting with an awfully broad brush there.
Yeah, but you know I'm only messing.
I'm just saying.
I'm only messing. The BlackBerry Priv is now available on T-Mobile. Oh, well, this is a story from 5 weeks ago, so it's been available on T-Mobile for quite a while.
Yeah, we stopped being excited by that. Are you going to get one of those?
No. All right, this is us. We're going back live. All right, we're back. And I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, I may as well finish up what we were on. Either of you guys have any input? Anything you want to add to my rant?
Which rant was that?
The one about Apple hard encoding the password into the secure enclave. Actually, let me, for those of you that aren't on YouTube, the reason this would matter, by the way, is because the iPhone includes there's a system called DFU mode, device firmware update mode, where you reboot the phone in a certain way with a certain button combination, and it reboots in in a way where you just plug into iTunes and it will accept a signed Apple operating system with no password requirements. Apple are perfectly capable of hard encoding your password into the secure enclave on the phone itself. And so instead of having the password requirement in software, it could be required in firmware, in the the firmware of the secure enclave, which would render any attack by the FBI from that point on moot. Their brute force attack with a hard encoded 8-digit passcode would take years and years, so it would just be moot. They would no longer do it. So what do you think? And I think the timing of moving the event to the 21st, the day before they go back to court, I think that actually has merit.
I think it's a great theory.
I mean, that's obviously all it is
Yeah.
a theory, but
I mean, it works.
it seems to make sense. Keith?
I think he's wandered off. I can't tell what's happening there.
Has he taken off? That's brilliant.
He's muted himself.
Oh, here we go. Alabama is reporting that Trump has won their primary and collected 20 delegates. Georgia is reporting that Trump has won and collected 24 delegates. Massachusetts, Trump won, got 15 delegates. Minnesota closes at 9. Oklahoma cruises in the lead. Tennessee, Trump wins and gets 26 delegates. Texas, too early. Vermont, Trump leads. And Virginia, it looks like Trump won and got 15 delegates. Looks like Trump's on for a sweep.
Ugh.
Yikes. However, there's a long way to go. I mean, you need 1,237 delegates to become the nominee. After today, there's some really big winner-takes-all states coming up. So it is theoretically possible that another candidate could win the nomination, but I don't know.
Something's got to happen quick.
Yeah. Because there's not many. The only real big delegate state tonight is Texas with 155. The next closest is Georgia with 76 delegates. So even if he gets a sweep tonight, it only puts him close to 500, which is nowhere near the 1237 required to win the nomination.
Right.
So it's still the game's still open. But that's what we're looking at right now. Trump is walking away with it so far. Danny, what else?
We have goats.
Goats?
Yeah, come on.
Yes.
Wait, the animals?
Yes. I mean, I don't
Bless
personally
them.
have goats. I'm not allowed to have goats.
Mm.
I clicked off the story to go back to the
goats or a
XXX
mower,
party,
either way.
and I have to find it now. In Salem, Oregon, they bought. They had a plan to unleash 75 lawn care goats on the city, to do the lawn tending.
Sure.
Because they thought that was, a good idea, that was like a viable option as opposed to having to hire humans to keep up with their lawn care.
Yeah, I mean, I could get behind that.
And gasoline and mowers and all the maintenance.
You're going to put a few.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Right, and keeping an eye on the people and the like.
Did you know that?
Nobody took into account the cost of the upkeep of the goats, or that somebody had to actually monitor the goats and make sure what they were doing, or the fact that goats are like freaking rats and they eat everything.
Yep.
So they didn't just eat the grass; they ate like the shrubs and the flowers and
the fences.
Everything.
The Mexican you put out of work.
Right.
So everything.
So the lawn care goat plan came to naught.
Spoiled. And that's a shame because it's honestly theoretically a really good idea.
Theoretically it's shit. It's horrible.
I love it. Have you ever played with goats? They're awesome.
yes, they're fantastic animals, but as far as like having a job, like other than like making milk, goats create milk. They're good for that. And meat, I think you can eat them. Um, but dude, they're like deer. They eat everything.
Mm.
So,
I mean, it's fair to say they may not have thought it through entirely,
right.
but I also think it would be really awesome to go to the park and have like a dozen goats roaming around.
Yes.
It would be
Until they
fantastic.
start butting you,
Right.
Well, yeah, sure. You wouldn't want
This is
Prius.
because
like
they
a
can be attacky.
Yeah,
this
but
is
you
a
wouldn't want
Kirk
Prius.
from Gilmore Girls kind of plan. This is the kind of thing that Kirk from Gilmore Girls would have come up with.
I don't know who that is.
You need to watch some Gilmore
Yeah,
Girls.
I've seen
unfortunately, I do.
Yeah.
because the two girls in it are super cute, the mom and
Yeah.
the daughter, but I don't know who Kirk is.
He's the crazy guy.
Yes.
Mm.
He's in pretty much every episode doing something just stupid,
All right.
like
All right. So what else you got?
buying goats. Um, what else do I have? Let me see. Oh, I had the toothbrush.
I have no idea what that means.
Oh, you must have been off Guinnessing.
Oh,
Or just
you're
ignoring
from
me.
England. That's why.
Oh,
Keith, now you're doing it.
that was a teeth joke.
It was. It was a British people have that. I hope your mom's not listening. Um,
I'm sorry, Ruby.
Ruby, I like your teeth. Um, there's a new toothbrush called the Bee Genius that there's an associated app that you hook up and you use your front-facing camera on your phone and it's got an accelerometer. So the you'd hook it up to this smart toothbrush and it knows where you're brushing. So it'll tell you when it thinks you've missed spots. And oh, it's got a pressure gauge, so it can tell you apparently people push too hard when they brush their teeth. It's a common problem.
Mhm.
So it tells you when you're pressing too hard, and it's got a timer to let you know when you've brushed for the I don't guess requisite 2 minutes is correct. The recommended 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like kind of a good way to get kids to brush their teeth.
Yeah.
You know,
We-
kid toothbrushes,
um,
there are ones that play music. So you
We-
brush until the music stops.
Yeah, that's all, but that doesn't mean they're getting all the areas they're supposed to, right? I think
True.
it's nice that it monitors pressure as well because you're
Yes.
right, it's a big problem. You press too hard and the bristles don't get between your teeth the way they're supposed to. They just get smushed out. And
Oh.
surface cleaning rather than a deeper cleaning. Now, when we were kids, we used these, we were given these little tablets, these little red tablets
Yep.
you would chew, and it would turn the plaque pink, and you would have to brush until all the pink disappeared.
You know, I think those were just like food coloring.
Could very well be.
Yeah, I don't think
But
they
no,
actually.
but
But
they-
yeah, I recall those.
They were.
Yeah, they make you brush your damn teeth.
Yeah, it took a very thorough brushing in order to get those in order to get your teeth white again rather than pink.
Wait. What?
Huh?
What?
The tablets that turned
Yeah.
your teeth
There were these
Yes.
little tablets that you would chew.
Yeah.
like
And supposedly-
voodoo teeth brushing tablets?
Yeah. And so you chew them and then you spit. First you brush your teeth, and then you chew the tablet and you spit. And whatever spots in your mouth were pink, that's where you didn't brush well enough. So then you had to go back and brush to get rid of all of the pink spots, which were supposedly plaque. But I don't know, it might have been hokum. Who knows?
Oh,
That seems like voodoo witchery.
Yeah.
yeah. Completely different subject. I've been looking for a third-party watch band for my Apple Watch, the Link bracelet. But what I've been waiting for is a one-to-one copy of the 38mm stainless steel Link bracelet. So I was actually browsing eBay, and there are now sellers who are selling what I'm looking for. Basically, all I'm waiting for now is a YouTube review for somebody to get one. I'm hoping it's Floss. Hoping Flossie gets one and does a review of one of these to see if they're any good. And if they are, I may get one because they are way, way cheaper than the Apple's version is $450 for the bracelet.
Jesus. Yeah.
These things are going for like 50, $60. So that would be great. Sorry, I just had to go off on that tangent.
You're Apple obsessed.
Just
This
gotta
evening.
get back to Apple, don't you?
He
Yeah.
does. He cannot leave Apple alone. I was gonna say we can't get him off of it, but I was afraid where y'all would take that.
Hey, they're
I will say, it's not technology related, but I broke my
fighting
favorite corkscrew.
they're fighting to
Oh
defend
no.
I know.
Apple.
I have a backup.
All right. Well, that's good.
He broke his corkscrew, huh? So Disney, all right, so Uber do this thing where on busy nights they have surge pricing. And
Yep.
what that does, oh, here comes the dog. What that does is, if there's more demand than supply, they up the price. Is
Yes.
it? I'm a good. If they up the price, apparently there's a big storm outside here.
Oh.
We had one. We just rolled through here, Al.
Oh, okay. Well, Disney have taken a page out of Uber's book, and they've introduced surge pricing at the theme parks. So, I guess their standard ticket price is $100, $99 a day, which is insane if you ask me. Well, on busy days, that's going up to $105, and on super busy days, I think it's going up to $120. And
Well, that's not crazy.
it's insane. And then on less busy days, it's
That's supply and demand.
on less busy days it goes down to 95. They call those value days.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I guess if you go to Disney at popular times, it's going to cost you $120 a day.
People will do it.
And that's supply and demand. I fully support that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can't say I blame them. I mean, people are still going to pay it. I think Disney is way overpriced. Because I mean, you have to
don't go.
well, you figure that's $120 a day per person. So a family of 4, that's $480 a day.
But it's a vacation that you do once a year.
But
For
it's
most
400.
families.
But it's $480 a day.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Well, yeah, but it's not like it's a necessity. I mean, do it or don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-oh. I just got an alert from my
The
security.
other thing about Disney is residents of Florida get a discount.
Yes, that is true.
Interesting.
I have no idea what the discount is, but they get a discount.
Oh, okay. I think it's picking up light. I got an alert from my camera, and I believe it's picking up lightning, and now it's telling me my camera is offline. So
Uh-oh.
The FBI's
Struck
on
by
you now,
lightning.
son.
yeah, I wonder if we had a power outage. I'm monitoring it now, so you guys keep on talking. But yeah, I mean, $480 a day to go see Mickey Mouse. Come on, give me a break.
It's a recreational thing. If you don't like the price, don't go and see it.
I agree, which is why I will not be going to Walt Disney World. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm watching a video here of my lights just flickering in and out. Damn, it's going nuts over there. Woo. All right. We're coming to the end here anyway. We're going to wrap this up a little bit early tonight, I think. Because I've run out of shit to talk about. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, well, I had my Flint rant, but I don't have it in me tonight.
Okay. Well, it's very likely I'm going to lose power here anyway. So
All right,
if
well, yeah, you need to go home and be safe.
yeah, it's going out of my house, then it's probably going to go out here. So, did you come up with an outro, Danielle?
I didn't.
All right.
Well, plus you're just going to mash all over it anyway, so.
Probably. All right. Well, Keith, thanks, man. Thanks for sitting in. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. We'll
I'll
see you
talk-
Friday.
Yep. See you Friday for hockey. Danny, thank you very
Yes,
much. Thank
yes.
you, everybody that watched and listened, and anybody that watches the
We
replay.
gotta tell them where to find us. You can find Alex on. Alex, fill in the blank.
Oh, Twitter, Xander Mac. Instagram, Xander Mac, spelt differently. And Tech Talk on Facebook. And, I'm on Facebook, obviously, but don't just hit me up on the Tech Talk page. I don't need any more friends.
Yes, and I am Tech Danielle on Facebook and the Twitters.
There you go. Keith, do you want people to reach you?
I'm just Keith Bergen.
At
Everywhere.
Keita Burger. At Keita Burger. All right, well, we're done. Thanks, everybody. Oh, my camera came back on. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all. Tech Talk out.
I already hit the button.
You always do that to me. Although the YouTubes are still live.
I didn't know Tech Talk
Yeah,
out was
you
a
can
thing.
say bye to everybody now.
Well, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't know Tech Talk out was a thing.
I've been trying to make it a thing, but Alex tears it up. Like I'll say it, and then he keeps talking.
Well, now you can
Well,
say it. We're still
I mean,
Say it.
you can make it a thing if you got your own show.
Say it, and I'll stop the broadcast.
All right, that's it, y'all. Thanks so much for being here. Tech Talk out.